There are encounters that defy explanation. They transcend time, touch the soul, and unravel what once seemed orderly. You were not brought together by chance. The angels whisper that your name was written in the stars long before your paths crossed. This connection pulsating within you, intense, inexplicable, sometimes painful, holds a purpose greater than you can currently comprehend. His presence in your life is no accident. It is a calling. You were placed in his path as a beacon in the darkness, as an unseen remedy, yet deeply felt. He, carrying his hidden wounds, encountered your light and didn't know how to handle such truth. The angels say, you were chosen to be a mirror, not a burden. To remind him that love still exists and has a face. You awaken in him memories of what is pure, of what is divine, of what was forgotten. This man, so confused, so defensive, has been experiencing an internal earthquake since your eyes met. Because you do not enter quietly. You awaken. And awakening hurts. Perhaps you haven't yet realized, but what you carry is not common. It is presence. It is healing. It is a walking prayer. Your mission is not to force him to love. It is merely to exist with truth. And that, in itself, is already changing everything. The angels are reorganizing his plans, without him even realizing it. They are cleaning the dusty windows of his heart so that one day, he may clearly see who you are. Do not demand answers now, nor immediate reciprocity. His process is slower, more subtle. But it is happening. For where there is true light, darkness does not linger long. And even if everything still seems confusing, trust, there is a plan. And you are part of the miracle he has yet to understand. Before I formed you in the womb I knew you, and before you were born I consecrated you. Jeremiah 1 verse 5. Every journey that begins with God's silence is, in truth, a higher calling. A calling not heard with our ears, but felt in our skin, in our bodies, with memories whose origins we cannot trace. You felt it. It wasn't just imagination. It was as if the universe whispered, "Pay attention." And without knowing why, you started to see signs. Small, almost imperceptible ones. But real. Too many coincidences to be mere chance. This person who crossed into your life, with subtle gestures, unfinished words, and eyes that say more than their mouth, did not come to fill your void. Instead, they came to awaken memories your soul has always carried. There's something in them that draws you inward. It is not neediness, nor dependence. It is recognition. The angels say, you've known them before. And they know you too, even if they're fighting against it. This recognition arrives unannounced. Sometimes, without gentleness. It crashes in like an avalanche. It disrupts everything you thought you knew about love. Because it isn't about ordinary romance. It's about destiny. And destinies often clash before they can accept each other. You are not called to be their safe harbor, not yet. You are called to be the storm that awakens. The light that reveals. The hand that doesn't push, but guides. And this, dear soul, requires strength. A strength only the chosen ones possess. And you were chosen. Not by them, but by something greater. By something that knows, among countless souls, only yours has the courage to remain whole, even while loving someone who still doesn't know if they love. Do not rush time. Time is also learning to navigate this love. And while it learns, the heavens are at work. Behind the scenes, angels move what is invisible to our eyes. They touch their heart in silence. They show your image when they try to escape. and they whisper your name in dreams that leave them perplexed. This is the invisible mission you carry: to love without losing yourself, to wait without abandoning yourself, to believe without forcing. Because true love never arrives as an imposition. It arrives as a revelation. Have you noticed how he hesitates when he's near you? How his eyes seem to drift off into space, searching for words that never come out. This isn't indifference. It's confusion. Not the confusion of someone who doesn't feel, but of someone who feels too much and doesn't know where to place it all. The angels say, his heart was made for love, but they forgot to teach him how to trust. And that's why he pulls away. That's why he hides. That's why he seems distant, even though he yearns to be close. He grew up learning that love is a threat. That opening up means getting hurt. That those who love lose. But then you came along, bringing a new narrative. Only he doesn't know if he can embrace it yet. You are a presence that touches without hurting. A gaze that welcomes without demanding. And that disarms him. But before he can surrender, he needs to confront what he hides even from himself. That's why the angels are asking you to have patience. Not the type of patience that waits for anything, but the kind that understands the value of what you feel. This story isn't about quick resolutions. It's about deep healing. You are facing a man who is undergoing reconstruction. And the light you carry reveals cracks he never wanted to notice. This hurts. But it also frees him. And even if he hasn't expressed it yet, he feels it. He senses that you're different. That your presence feels like home. Like truth. Like a future. He feels that with you, he could relax. He could be himself, without masks, without fear. But the fear, it's still too overwhelming. The angels are with him now. They surround his mind, dismantling old beliefs. They're whispering courage in his ear. They are preparing the way for a new beginning. And in the meantime, you don't need to do anything. Just keep being you. Because it is precisely that, your essence, that is making him question himself, allow himself, and draw closer. And there will come a day, not marked on the calendar, but recorded in heaven, when he will stop running. On that day, he will look at you with the eyes of someone who finally understands. You are not a threat. You are the answer. There is a silent moment that only the soul perceives, the moment when love begins to manifest in self-care. It is at this point in the journey that the angels gently touch your shoulder and say, now it's your turn. You don't need to break yourself to fit into his world. You don't need to diminish yourself to accommodate his insecurities. True love never demands the sacrifice of your light. The angels want you to hear this with your heart. Your spiritual mission is not to abandon yourself for him. It is to remain true to yourself while he finds his own path. You can love without losing yourself. And you can wait without extinguishing your light. Perhaps you have spent sleepless nights trying to understand his silences. Perhaps you have wondered what you did wrong for him to pull away. But what you feel is not rejection. It is a reflection of his internal chaos. The love you offer is so complete that it can be intimidating. And when someone spends their entire life surviving in halves, wholeness seems dangerous. So today, the heavens ask you for something sacred. Turn your attention to yourself. Look tenderly at the woman you are. The one who feels, who waits, who fights, who believes. The one who, even when tired, remains whole. Take care of yourself as you care for him in thought. Nourish your soul with kindness. Surround yourself with everything that makes you feel good. Be your own constant presence. Because deep down, What you truly desire from this love is not salvation. It is recognition. You want to be seen, honored, and chosen, not out of need, but out of worthiness. And this worthiness begins now, when you decide to prioritize yourself. The angels say, while you take care of yourself, he heals. Because everything is interconnected. Your light illuminates his shadows, even from a distance. But it needs to stay lit. Do not extinguish your light trying to be a lighthouse. You can guide while also protecting yourself. This love was not given to consume you, but to reveal you. And the deepest revelation is this: you are already complete. What comes from the other person is a blessing, not a necessity. You can love with surrender, but without renunciation. You can wait while still remembering to live. And it is in this sacred balance that miracles unfold. There is something in him that recognizes you even before your eyes meet. It's not mere attraction, it's as if you've activated an ancient code within him. A mirror, perhaps, one that does not distort but reveals. Since you appeared, he has found no peace. Not because you demand it, but because your presence brings everything to the surface. The wounded child he hides, the man he wishes to be, the traumas he tried to forget, and especially, the love he never learned to embrace. You are the reflection of his unhealed parts. And that bothers him. Because loving you is not comfortable, it's transformative. The angels say, you force him to look. To look at the shadows, the emotional addictions, the patterns that keep him trapped. You don't need to say anything, your light already speaks for you. That's why he hesitates. Loving someone like you requires courage, the courage to leave the surface and dive deep. The courage to admit that his whole life he has run from the truth. But something in you doesn't allow him to escape. Your gaze, your calm, your strength, even in pain. All of this breaks down the walls he took years to build. You became a mirror, not one that strokes the ego, but one that reveals the soul. And he sees you there. He sees himself too. That's why sometimes he pulls away. Facing you means facing himself. It means admitting that true love does not come with guarantees, but with depth. And depth frightens him. But the angels are whispering to him, night after night, that there is nothing to fear. You don't want to take him away from himself. You want to help him return home. To his heart. To his essence. And even if he still fights against it, something within him is already yielding. Because no soul forgets a mirror that reveals it with love. You are not here to fix him. You are here to remind him of who he is, beyond fear. And he, even without words, has begun to realize, there is healing in your gaze. There is forgiveness in your touch. And there is truth in your presence. You are the turning point. He just hasn't figured out how to deal with it yet. Something silent began to stir within him. Perhaps you can't see it clearly. Perhaps his gestures still appear the same. But there's a detail in his eyes that wasn't there before. A longer pause between words. A different breath when your name is spoken. This is the beginning. The beginning of awakening. The angels say, the heart that was asleep has begun to listen. To listen to memories he didn't know he had. To listen to desires he had suppressed for so long. To listen to the name of love in your voice. This doesn't mean everything has changed, yet. But it means something has been touched. And once touched, it doesn't go back to sleep. Has he been quieter lately? More thoughtful? It's because he's listening to what he never dared to feel. Your presence has become a living prayer within him. He realizes he misses you even before you're gone. That he feels jealousy without wanting to control it. that he wants to know about you without knowing what to ask. It's new, and new things can be scary. But he is waking up. And what awakens within his heart cannot be forgotten. You, with your calming light, with your way of existing without demanding, are teaching him what love without prisons looks like. This is revolutionary for someone who lived surrounded by emotional contracts. Don't expect grand gestures. Not yet. The awakening begins small, like a seed breaking through the earth from within. But it is real. The angels make this clear every time he thinks of you before sleeping, every time he dreams of what he hasn't lived, every time he smiles alone remembering a detail of yours. His heart is reprogramming itself. You are the code, the password, the key. And he, even confused, has already started typing. He doesn't know what he'll find on the other side, but he feels it is safe, that it is right, that it is yours. The angels continue to touch his soul. And every touch, even if invisible, is another confirmation that you did not pass through his life in vain. The love you planted is germinating, and it will blossom. Have you ever felt like you're just going around in circles with him? Like everything is about to start, and then suddenly, you find yourself right back at square one? This cycle has a name. It has a root. It has a reason. The angels say, his fear is not of you. It's of what you represent. Because loving you requires presence, truth, surrender. And for someone who has learned to hide, this can feel almost unbearable. So he leaves, and then comes back. He draws near, and then vanishes. He smiles, and falls silent. It's the struggle of someone who wants, but cannot. And you, with all your heart, try to make sense of it. You try not to blame yourself. You try not to get hurt. But there are days when everything feels overwhelming. Know this deep in your soul. This push and pull has nothing to do with your worth. It has to do with his demons. He learned to love while being fearful, to expect abandonment, to be suspicious of peace. And the moment he met you, all of that felt threatened. Because you don't bring drama. You bring truth. And truth can be scary. Yet even with all his resistance, he comes back. Because there is something in you that calls to him. It soothes and unsettles him at the same time. It makes him want to run, and yet stay. The angels are watching this cycle closely. They don't see any flaws in you. They see surrender, pure love. And that's why they continue to strengthen your heart. They whisper, you are not stuck in a loop. You are helping a heart heal in its own time. It's hard, I know. But every time he returns, it's an attempt, imperfect, sure, to get closer to what he still doesn't know how to maintain. You are a lesson for him. And lessons require patience. This doesn't mean accepting less than you deserve. It means understanding that some healing doesn't happen at the pace of our desires. Even within this tiring cycle, there is progress. There is growth. There are seeds being nurtured. Love, when it's real, finds its way even through the labyrinth. And the angels assure you, there will come a moment when he will stop fleeing. Because he will come to realize that the peace you offer is exactly what he has been searching for all along. There are healings that don't come with medicine. They come with presence, with shared silence, with eyes that say, I see you without needing words. You have been this healing for him. The angels say, your love doesn't shout. It whispers. And even so it heals. Because what touches you deeply isn't noise. It's truth. And your truth touched him in a way no one ever could. You arrived promising nothing, And yet, you gave everything. You offered affection in small gestures. You provided comfort even on days of absence. You extended forgiveness even when your heart ached. And for someone who learned to doubt everything, this is a miracle. He may not have said it yet, but he feels it. He senses that there's something different about you. He feels that, even in your silences, there is presence. That even when you withdraw, there is love. And this confuses him, but also comforts him. Because you don't demand. You don't impose. You don't confine. You love with freedom. And the love that liberates is what heals the most. Because it doesn't need to control. It just trusts. You have been balm for wounds he never dared to show. You have been relief for pains he didn't even know how to name. And yet, even while being healing, you also bleed. Because loving someone in process is also traversing internal deserts. But the angels are with you, touching your soul on nights when you cry in secret, strengthening your faith on days when his silence hurts more than any word. They remind you, you were not called to save, but to love with wholeness. And this love, so whole, so firm, so yours, is working miracles in silence. He will wake up one day and realize that the lightness he feels has your name, that the peace that arrived slowly had your hands, that the love that healed him was yours. Because love, when true, heals even from afar. And your love, my dear soul, has already begun to do that. Commit your way to the Lord, trust in him, and he will act. Psalm 37 verse 5. Not every silence means absence. Sometimes it's fear. Fear of feeling too deeply. Fear of losing oneself in what finally makes sense. He wants to love, but he doesn't know how. The angels say, there's a knot in his chest that was tied in childhood and never untied. A knot of insecurities, of feelings of abandonment, of words that hurt. And it is with this knot that he tries to love you. You sense his hesitation in the little things. In the interrupted touch. In the glance that lingers half a second longer. In the almost gesture of affection that he doesn't follow through on. This isn't a lack of love. It's an excess of protection. Because loving for him is a risk. It means stripping away the armor that kept him alive for years. It means revealing himself without guarantees. And that still terrifies him. Have you noticed? When you get closer, he breathes deeper. When you talk about the future, he changes the subject. When you pull away, he comes back. It's as if his heart says stay, while his mind screams flee. And in the midst of this inner conflict, there you are, with your pure love, with your desire to build a future together, with your presence that heals just by being there. And even if he doesn't say it, he knows. He knows you are different, that you don't want to trap him, that you just want to walk alongside him. But for someone used to running, walking feels like a prison. That's why he needs time. Time to realize that you don't want to break down his defenses, you want to embrace his broken pieces. Time to understand that vulnerability is not weakness, it's a bridge. And you? You need to remember that it's not your responsibility to save him. Only to love him in the most complete way you can, even if that right now also means protecting yourself. The angels are watching over both of you. They are whispering courage into his heart, and hope into yours. They know there is love there. Real love. Love with roots. And when he finally accepts that he no longer needs to fight, he will discover that loving you is exactly what he needed to find his way back to himself. Not everything that is true needs to be understood immediately. Love sometimes asks for more surrender than understanding. And now, it is time to accept. Accept that not every love begins ready. That not every answer comes quickly. There is beauty in waiting, yes, but most importantly, there is strength in remaining. You did what you could. You were presence, you were light, you were a seed. And now, dear soul, it is time to trust the harvest, even if it has not yet shown signs. The angels say, the love that is yours is not lost. It returns. It may come through different paths. It may arrive in ways you never imagined. But if it is true, it returns. Perhaps he still needs to get lost a little more to find himself. Perhaps he needs to experience misalignments until he understands that you are always the point of peace. And that's okay. Because love is not about controlling time. It is about keeping the heart open, even in the face of silence. You are not weak for feeling so much. You are strong for continuing to love with lightness, even when everything feels heavy. And now is the most sacred part of the journey: surrender. Trust. Letting go without closing the door. The angels are by your side, taking care of your heart, touching your soul with the same tenderness with which you touched his. They whisper, you are not being left. You are being protected. Protected from what is not yet ready. Protected from new beginnings that would be incomplete. And while he walks toward his own healing, you walk toward yourself. Because the right love, when the time is right, will not be afraid. It will not hesitate. It will not flee. It will recognize your light. It will honor your waiting. And it will find you whole, not because you stopped for him, but because you never stopped walking for yourself. There is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under the heavens. Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1. Receive this truth as a divine seal. What is yours is coming. In the right time. In the right way. With the love you deserve.